All right, team. We are like an hour behind. It's okay. It's crypto, right? Let's live loose a little bit, I guess. So we're talking about account abstraction now. Again, guys, we're going to have to keep this short, Francesco. No worries. All right. So as the chairs are being Tetrised on the stage, quick intros to everyone. Francesco, he's coming up. He is our DevRel lead at Consensus. We have Z Wang from Timeless Wallet and Isaac, who is from Particle Network. So welcome, guys. Come on up. You can start.
Thank you so much, Susie, for the kind intros. How many of you guys are into account abstraction? Okay. How many of you guys are building smart accounts? Okay, a couple of people. Seems relevant people in the panel today. Let's start with a quick round of intros.
I'm Z, founder of Timeless Wallet. We're predominantly focusing on the social layer using account abstraction.
Hey, I'm Isaac, BD manager at Particle Network. We're building products in the account abstraction and chain abstraction space.
Sounds good. So let's start quickly. I think everybody's a little bit in the ecosystem. So what's the current state of 437 and the kind of like cascade EIPs 7702? Like what's happening? And just also quick context. Like we co-started back in the days 437 Mafia with some other friends. We're quite active also in the EAP kind of like what's happening. So, but I want to ask you guys like what's the current state? Where do you see things is going? Are we in the right direction?
Yeah, I think we've done a really good job of sort of creating this standard of 4337 being the primary account abstraction standard, especially help through things like 4337 Mafia. And other AA groups. And I think it's really important to have this unified standard so that different products have interoperability.
So I think we're still in the kind of the first state phase. I mean, we decided to swipe left in the sense that, I mean, for the longest times, everything's EOA. I think the general market, from a technical perspective, I think everyone appreciate AA. I think that was kind of the Vitalik kind of effectively did usher that process, right? But from a consumer adoption perspective, I think I personally, and one of my community managers also down there, we answered about 24,000 messages, support messages in the past 6 months. I think there's still a lot of education. So the adoption curve, I think, probably the biggest bottleneck that was solved was 4844, which was Blob. That did reduce the gas fee. And I think the Linea team also did a great job. But I think the next step is to really continue to educate the user benefits. I think the conversation for the past 12 months about the technical advancement, I think that has settled.
Yeah, there is a big debate around 7702 about modular accounts. It's very interesting what's happening. And by the way, Isaac, what other AA accounts? No, I'm joking. Like you mentioned, like there is a lot of AA accounts, but 437 Mafia like has been like quite leading the way in terms of like technical debates. But cool. Like you touched a little bit on challenges. What other challenges do we see both for like users and developers today? Building like those use cases.
Yeah. So in terms of challenging, I think the good thing is this, right? There's 7702, right? There is also even native account abstractions. I think that might be one of the key topics to talk about. Probably maybe that by the next Denver, right? In terms of like some of the technical components, for example, like the swapping between EOA and AA, that's I think Vitalik talked about quite extensively a couple of weeks ago, right? And then there's kind of the native the account abstraction connecting with passkey. I think that has always been somewhat challenging, right? Because not all the network supports on the R curve, right? So you can't actually abstract away the login, do like let's say the secure enclave. So again, there's still some technical debts and some of the clarity that needs to be continue to be made more clearly to the developers and builders out there.
Yeah, no, I definitely second that, especially with the passkeys. I think that's sort of where we see the most technical debt.
Yeah, I think also like journeys wise, we see like users having specific like journey needs. So I think like also customizing this like wallet journey is very important. And we see a lot that with the snaps, right? That a lot of people are just interested in getting on board with security snaps. Some people are actually using a lot some AA snap, and then depends what the user want, right? And I remember you guys like from back was last year or something. You integrate like with Telegram, so also like on a specific like a social part. I really like that from Timeless. Like, can you expand a little bit on this kind of like the social like narrative that you guys are building around Timeless a little bit more?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of really the next step in terms of like we kind of got to the pain point. Now the question is like, okay, once the users start using account abstraction, what are some of the additional benefits? So one of the things is basically, for example, you can theoretically log into a new account abstracted wallet using your Telegram login, right? With secondary backup authentication. That's one benefit. The native integration with Telegram directly within the wallet, that means you can send tokens now from one user to another. And you can also use counterfactual wallet creation, right? So I think these are some of just the general benefits that for the general users out there, they don't really care about the technical aspect, like what's the benefit to me, right? And then I think some of the newer exciting announcement that we're about to make in the next couple of the weeks is the integration with Farcaster and Lens. So within the wallet, you have access to, you can actually make a post, you can actually use the frame to make a purchase, and no longer are you being kicked out to the different wallet to authenticate, to kind of sign the transaction request. You can do so directly within the wallet. And the approval is just a biometric scan. You no longer have to actually type in your private key or do all that stuff, right? So I think the next 12 months is exciting. Hopefully by next year when we get invited back, we'll be talking more about, okay, we got like another 10 million users who are actually getting the benefits of account abstraction.
1 year, go for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's like a perfect use case for AA. And you know, these consumer facing dApps where you want to onboard these users who may not have experience with private keys or you know, may not have a MetaMask. So that's, especially with the biometrics, I think that's a really cool development of AA as well.
Sounds good. I was checking my laptop that got automatically dropped by the wind, and I was more concerned. And by the way, 1 year in crypto is like we're meeting each other next year will be like so many evolutions, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think that our ambition is basically, can we get to 10 million? I mean, it seems like a crazy number. Last year when we were talking to the Linea team, we're dancing around like maybe 100,000. I think in 6 months we got up to about 1.5 million. So I think, you know, with the right support, with the right campaign, I think we can get to 10 million.
Even on Linea, you know, like what 2-3 weeks ago we reached the 1 billion TVL, and you know, if you think about that, this ECC is when we went mainnet last year. It's quite crazy, huh? Like how much time is in terms of evolution and the development feature updates that are happening. Like
I mean, and I think some of the, I was just talking to you off stage about some of the technical advancements. I think it is in terms of progression is definitely a punctuate with equilibrium, meaning like it's boring, it's painful, it's boring, it's painful until you get to a point where everything seems to click. Because it was last year at Denver, Vitalik said, oh, like we're thinking about supporting 4337. And by the time we got to Paris, everyone's already started supporting it. By the time you get to September, there's probably like 15, 20 different wallets deciding to support AA. So I think that's kind of the moment we're looking for in terms of like, okay, some of the newer ideas, native account abstraction, passkey support, biometrics, smart account, universal smart accounts. I think those are the side conversations that are happening off stage. And by the time you get to on stage, then I think that's kind of when the sparks really happen in terms of adoption.
Yeah, we see also like batch transactions, for example, is a big use case, especially on Gamer back in the days. That we even like on MetaMask. That's why also SDK kind of like exists, because a lot of people are going back to Wallet Connect. They're literally signing every transaction. And when you're like in a specific like game, like you know North Forest or something, like you wanna be able to auto sign for a specific transaction and batch transact, right? You touched a bit on universal accounts, and Particle has been a big advocate on that. Can you give us like, because I think that's a big topic. Like, what are universal accounts? How Particle is supporting those today?
Yeah, so I look at it as you know, account abstraction solved the user onboarding problem in crypto, making it easy for users to log in with social accounts, interact with dApps without having to pay gas fees. However, we realized that this only sort of solves the first step. And when users want to transact across chains, there's still a lot of difficulty. There's fragmentation, and even for experienced DeFi users, bridging is not fun. So really, I think the next evolution of this will be, now that we've sort of already abstracted away the account experience, the next step is abstracting away the chain experience, giving users a unified balance across chains, where they can seamlessly interact without having to worry about, having funds on a certain chain and wanting to do a transaction where they may not have gas. It should just be this seamless user experience. And yeah, that's really what we're building towards, and excited to bring chain abstraction to chains like Linea.
Super exciting. Yeah. And just to closing up and opening up some question here for the audience, like, so what's coming next in terms of like, from timeless side, particle side, you mentioned also like some dropping some alphas there, but in terms of like needs for the ecosystem, like also like we're getting so many feedbacks from the community, like are you guys like looking forward for some specific like, features, updates or like feature needs that people are not building, or you guys are looking into it?
Do you want me to pull out my feature request list? So I was talking to Marco last night, and I know Emma's down there. Obviously, one of the key things that we, from our perspective, for the next 180 days, would love to see Linea supporting, let's say, build up a layer 3, right? So we're already kind of in design phase, because we need certain level of performance characteristics, ultra low gas fee, even like compressing the gas fee even lower, right? Supporting things like ZK Snark, right? Validium, right? So to optimize for what we focus on, which is the social aspect. And then specifically for the users, I think these are some of the things that we're looking to bring to Linea. For example, I think most of us have heard of Pumped Out Fun, Hamster Combat. Those kind of socialify features we're looking to integrate directly within Timeless. So hopefully that's a win-win-win for Linea. Obviously generate additional interaction, gas fees. For the users, again, whether it being just come for the money or for the entertainment, or maybe for the alpha, I think that's beneficial to the end users. And ultimately for us, it also wins. That means, we're giving of all the past, year and a half of hard work, we're actually continue delivering durable revenue for our project, but also making sure we have enough ammunition to engage the users on an ongoing basis. So those are kind of the three key vectors we're thinking about how to continue to make progress.
Yeah, for us, we're sort of laser focused on universal accounts. We're currently live on testnet, so if anyone wants to go play around with them, get a feel for this idea, use our universal gas token. And we're aiming to go live on mainnet in about 3 months. So I think for us, it's just about aligning with the chains and the initial projects who will support universal accounts to have a really strong rollout of the product.
Nice. Could not finish up better with this kind of like, how does the future look like? Any question, guys? I know that. Let's have some spicy question before we're closing up the panel. You good? I think we're good. Awesome.
Thank you.
For the first time, we're closing a little bit earlier.
We just shaved off 2 minutes.